Hello, hello, Miss Anderson here, and I am going to show you how I use Spotify for podcasters to create radio shows and podcasts and all that jazz. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to sign up. I've already signed up, so I'm going to go to login, but it's pretty much the same process. I'm going to go to login, and then I'm going to go to Anchor by Spotify. Now, Anchor is a podcasting software and it's all online. It's free. And so I'm going to click on Anchor and then it will say, don't have an account, sign up. And that's what you want to do. Now, again, I already have an account. And so I'm just going to log in. What you want to do is sign up with your Gmail, your Epic Gmail. So I'm going to click on the Google icon and I'm going to sign up with my Gmail, my Google account. And then it should give you an Anchor is now Spotify for podcasters. They just changed their brand and that's cool. It's free. It's awesome. So I'm going to show you the ins and outs of how to work Spotify for podcasters. All right. So it's asking me to make my first episode. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk you through how I create podcasts and radio shows with Spotify for podcasters. All right. So I'm going to click on new episode up at the top right. And then I'm going to click on create an episode. Now, if you already have an audio or video file, maybe you've recorded something on your phone, for example, you can upload that right there. I'm going to go ahead and just record everything right here on my computer. So I'm going to create an episode. Now, from here, you have some really cool options. So all of your podcast stuff will show up right here. You can drag files from your computer or from the tools and you can drag them right here. So I can record right here. I'm going to click record and it's going to ask me if I want to allow my microphone. I'm going to make sure that I click allow. There we go. And then it's going to ask me what microphone I'm using. Just use the built-in one from your device. And then I can click on record now. Here we go. Da 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 da, yay, podcast, yay, radio show, woo, all right, there we go, and stop recording, and there it is, and from there, it's going to process. Okay, then I'm going to do what's called adding to episode, and I can add background music to my audio file as well. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to click on this, and what I can do is I can tag in some of these lovely things like, let's see, what does tropic sound like? Yeah. Loving that. All right, let's do that. Okay, and from here, you can slide this to where it's not as loud. And I'm going to apply. And now I have some background track on that. And it's going to process. So if you have an ominous, maybe somebody is saying, I can't believe you did that, Janine. I don't know. You can add some ominous background music to that as well. Yeah. All right. So this, you can see it has that little music icon. That means that it's audio that you recorded with music in the background. And it also separated it out from your actual audio. So you can add them both separately as well. Okay. So I'm going to add this to my episode, but first I'm going to check on these three dots. You can download the audio file to your computer if you need, or you can delete it from here. Okay. And you can rename this too. It's good to rename things. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this. I'm going to rename it to Ta-da. If you're saying, oh, this is Janine talking. Yeah, ominous tone or something. You may want to put like first, second, third if you need it in order. So be sure to rename it so that you don't get confused. Okay, so I'm now ready to add this to my podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and add to episode and it saves it right here. So this is kind of building my episode, building my radio show, or building my podcast. Okay, let's check out some other features. So I'm going to go over here to this feature. This is the library. If you have a whole bunch of audio that you've collected from previous things that you've created, it will show up in your library. If I click on here, I just have a few things from my library. Over here is Spotify itself. You can add Spotify music to your show. I will say that I usually don't do that. I usually just use the music that is on the backgrounds of things. Then I have this tab right here. It's called Messages. Now, if you have guest speakers that are coming in to your podcast, you don't actually have to coordinate with them to say, hey, we're going to meet at my house. We're going to record this podcast and we need this software. We need this microphone. You actually don't need a lot to record this podcast or record this audio, record this radio show. You just need them to have a link to your podcast or to this radio show, and then they send you a voice message recording their voice, and then you can add it straight to your podcast or straight to your radio show. So for example, if you want your dad or your Uncle Bob to be a voice in your radio show or in your podcast, all you have to do is share your voice message link. I'm going to click this button, it copied, and then I just send it to the person I need to record their voice. They access that link and then they record their voice and they send it to you, and then it shows up right here and you can drag it right into your podcast or right into your radio show. They don't actually have to be right there with you to record your radio show or record your podcast. I think that's so cool. So you can have your Uncle Bob or your Aunt Janine record some voiceover for you and compile it and drag and drop your files right there and order them so that you can have multiple people join you for your podcast, even if they're not in the same room. I really like that a lot. Okay. The last thing is this little pink button right here, and it is transitions. So we have some different transitions that you can use. Maybe you're having a little scene where they're at a house and then all of a sudden, oh, they're in the woods now, and oh, they're at a castle. Okay, so we want to use some transitions to help the listener understand that we are now moving. Maybe the tension got really big and now we're at a different kind of tone. So we need some transitions, and we have some right here, and you can scroll through. They have a ton of transitions where you can click play and they set a certain tone for you. So you got to pick the right one that sets the right tone for your novel, and so or your radio show, your podcast. And then all you have to do is click add to episode right here. And of course, there it is. Now, let's go ahead and add a few things so I can show you how to organize it. So I'm going to record a few random things. Here we go. Da da ba 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 boop ba da bop. And there we go. It's going to process. There we go. Okay, and again, I can add background music right there to it. I'm going to add to episode. Great. All right. And now I'm going to add, let's see, one more transition. Let's do that one. There we go. Now, once I have a whole bunch of files into my episode, what I can do is I can preview the episode right here. Da 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 la la da da da, yay! Podcast, yay! Radio show, woo! All right, there we go. And you get it. All right, now what if it was not in the order that I need? So what I can do is I can drag this, see these little dots right here? I can drag it into whatever order I need it to go in. All right, there we go. Now you see these three dots. Again, you can go into these three dots, and when they're in your radio show or in your podcast right here, in your episode, if you will, you can remove the background music. You can remove this from the episode. You can download the audio file, and then you can edit the audio. Let's look at editing the audio. All right, here we go. From here, you can edit your audio. If you didn't quite say things correctly, or if you went, "ah" at the end of it on accident, or your dog started barking. My dog does that a lot. You can edit the audio here. So for example, if I like, ooh, this little bit right here, I don't need this little bit. So I'm going to place my little placer right there, and then I'm going to split this. So right here, I'm going to hit split. And then I'm going to take my little purple deal right here, and I'm going to do this. And oh, there we go. I'm going to delete that. Oh, wait. I'm going to restore that. I'm going to take my little purple deal. I'm going to put it right there. Let's see what happens. There we go. That's what I need right there. And I can restore it if I need, and I can delete it if I need. So take the little purple bit and move it to however much you want to delete. All right. So that's how to edit your audio. Nice, huh? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then I can save as one new segment. Now, what do you do when you're done and you're ready to rock and roll and you're ready to turn in your radio show or your podcast? Here's what you're going to do. It's processing now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Save Episode when it's done processing. Here we go, Save Episode. And now I get to title it whatever I want. So it's untitled right now. Let's see, I'm going to say Ta-da episode. And now I can add a description. Ta-da, ta-da, yes. And publish date now, yes. All right, cool. And I can customize this episode if I want. Is it a full episode? Is it a clean or explicit? It better be clean, y'all. Let's see, season number 1, episode number 1, cool. And you can also upload some episode art if you would like. Great. Okay, I think we are all ready. And then you click next. All right, one of the last steps is creating this podcast name. So you can title it whatever you want to title it. I like Adventures with Mrs. Anderson. Yeah, oh, that's not how you spell my name. Anderson. My podcast description is Adventuring with Mrs. Anderson. Yes. And my category is, let's see, books. And let's see, my language is English. And it's in the United States. Wonderful. Continue. And my cover art, I'm just going to have them choose one for me. That sounds great. Continue. Again, you can customize all of these on your own. And then I'm going to update my cover art. Makes it look real fancy. All right. And now we're going to get to the sharing bit. I am publishing, yes. Awesome. Continue. So now I'm ready to share this link with my teacher. So I'm going to copy this link or this link, either one will work. And I'm going to put it in the submission box for my teacher. And that's it. I hope you enjoy creating your podcast or radio show, and I can't wait to take a listen.